But look, we got to go ahead and move on. Tina, breaking news, NFL free agency. Some things have happened since the last time I've talked to you. What's going on in free agency?
Not much. I mean, at least in the last week, there hasn't been a lot of movement. There's a lot of re-signings and all of that. And if anyone's really interested in knowing what their team has done so far in the free agency, go to the NFL.com, go to their news section. They actually have a free agency tracker that'll show you every team and what they've done and what the contracts have been, whether the re-signing, structuring, all of that. So that's where I get a lot of my information. But there's a couple of them this week that I think are interesting. One, the Chiefs has decided that maybe they might need a backup to my lovely little Kermit, Mr. Patrick Mahomes. They signed Carson Wentz to a deal, $3.3 million, 2.2 guaranteed. I think it's either a 1 or a 2 year contract. It's not a very long contract. So he's there just in case. He's going to hold the clipboard.
Can we stay here just for a second? As somebody that has rooted for this man, tried to advocate for this man in Washington, Tina, I mean, obviously he hasn't had the successful career after the injuries and everything that's happened. But he consistently gets contracts. I mean, to the Colts, to us, and now in this situation, I mean, what does that say? Is that him? Is that
this? Every team needs a backup. I don't know. I mean, honestly, backup quarterbacks can make a career out of this. You sit on the sidelines, especially you watch tape, you hold the clipboard, and you help the guy that's in the first position. So, I mean, you can make real careers out of this.
Very true.
But you have to have something there for the team to be able to bring you in. So I don't know. I think it says you're not enough to be a quarterback first string, but you're not so bad that we're not going to bring. But let's also think about, this is something that we'll talk about later when it comes to my Broncos in the offseason. There's not that many quarterbacks left out there that are free agents that you can claim at this point. So I have a feeling he's a backup. They'll probably draft somebody and they'll pick up some kind of quarterback. Or if they don't, all right, let's hope Kermit doesn't break a leg.
By half you don't want him coming in. What else is going on in free agency?
Kyle Duggar, he was tagged by the Pats in the beginning of the year. They were able to restructure his contract. He is getting a $58 million 4-year extension. He will be one of the highest paid safeties in the league at this point, and he's going to get $32.5 million guaranteed out of that contract. Another one, and I'm leaving this one for last, is the big one that everybody knows about and saw, because Delilah, of course, is pushing it out on our Let's Talk Football, and I love that about her. Stephon Diggs got traded to the Bills.
Craziness.
He got traded. The Bills get a second-round pick in the 2025 draft, and the Texans will receive... That can't be right. Well, I guess so. Texans get a 2025 fifth-round pick and a 2024 sixth-round pick from the Bills. So that was all part of the deal. So, hey, he's already started playing with C.J. Stroud. That hit the news today that he's already been practicing. So,
when you start to look at that lineup, I mean, the pieces that they've assembled there, the Texans, you'd be a fool if you didn't say they're a Super Bowl contender on paper. On paper,
these guys. Me 2 years ago, when a year ago, who did I say I wanted as my head coach? Yeah, he's showing.
He is.
That Texans is. The thing is, and I read about this. A lot of people are like, oh my God, they're flipping it around. No, they didn't flip it around in a year. They've been rebuilding for a while.
Right.
So this isn't just something they did automatic. They're now in a position where they can bring free agents in, and they can actually move on some of these things that they've been doing. And they can say, look what we did. We can make ourselves better.
Right.
So
We
it's
get in-house. Yeah.
they're definitely going to be in the talk. They
Oh,
need to be in
absolutely.
the talk next year for playoffs. So
Absolutely. Now
hey,
it's good. It could be interesting though, because to Nathan saying I don't like this move, I think some of the critics could say, is Stephon Diggs a cancer? Each place that he's been successful. But if he does not get the attention that he wants, he'll let you know about it. So is he potentially a problem? A cancer might be brewing? I mean, what do you think?
I think there's that potential there, no doubt about it. I mean, you are how you've been,
Hmm.
and he's shown exactly what it's like. If he doesn't like something, he's just he becomes a horrible person. Like
Mm,
it's
mm,
almost like it's
mm.
my sandbox, my toys, and if you won't let me do what I want to do, I'm taking my toys and I'm leaving the sandbox.
Right, right.
It's essentially what he's doing. He doesn't play well with others. But let's look at it this guy. The What do we want out of our wide receivers?
Hmm.
We want guys that are gonna go out and make those catches that nobody else can make and take the hits. Maybe that may be changing a bit in the next year.
Mm.
But
Yes,
you
you're right.
need guys with egos and with personal belief in themselves. And when you have those kinds of egos on teams, that's what you get.
Yeah.
Terrell Owens was the same way. All of these
Mhm.
guys, they're called prima donnas for a reason. I
True.
mean, prime is
Very true.
prime
But
because
when does your thirst for production, you know, outweigh the whole team? Because I mean, that one guy, if he can succeed like T.O., like Brandon Marshall, look at all the numbers B Marsh put up. But let's be honest, when B Marsh was done and he had his issues, he was out vocal, upset, very out in the open about that stuff, and it was very detrimental to the team. So
yeah. Oh, I'm
when
not
is
saying
it?
it's not going to be. It's
Yeah.
going to be a problem. The issue is going to be is that the tech DeMarco is going to have to say, sit down and shut up. He's going to
Right.
have to control that team. He's going to have to be more than likely. There was probably some kind of conversation between the two of them, and
Yeah.
something about, hey, if you want to come here, like we'll see what happens. And it's just one of those that if you want those guys to make those kinds of plays, you need to take the ego with it.
Yeah.
And when you have an ego, you're going to have some problems and stuff. And I get why Nathan's saying he's not too sure about that trade or why you would take it. You might be bringing a cancer inside your team, but is the cancer worth it if you get the Super Bowl?
Hmm. And that's what you got to figure out. What are we after?
Remember again, this is a business. It's a business for the owners and it's a business for the players.
Hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely. Any more free agency moves? Any other things to?
Now, there was a few in there that I noticed, like Shaq Barrett went to Miami because I love Shaq.
Hmm.
Um, Albert Owebanon, he was a tight end on Broncos. He ended up going to Seattle with Shelby Harris in
Okay.
the trade that brought over Russell Wilson. He's now going to be a tight end at Philadelphia. Um, like, who's this again? I have to look and see who it is. Oh, Brett Ripien. He used to be one of our backup quarterbacks.
Let's go, Brett Rippin. Let's go. The cousin, the nephew of the great Mark Rippin, Super Bowl 26 MVP,
He's going to be
37
playing for the
24
Bears
Buffalo.
now.
Let's go. Yeah. Oh.
Yeah. And I don't know if too
Oh.
many people know this. I know it. Remember the year that we had to put Hilton in because we had
Mm,
no quarterbacks left
mm,
in our
yeah.
in our
Yeah.
quarterback room? Brett Ripien was one of those guys that was
Ooh.
involved in that.
Oh. Oh, the ones that all went out and got COVID together or something like that.
No, 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 no,
Oh,
no, no.
what
What they
happened?
did is they all took off their COVID monitors
Yeah.
and stuck them at the edges of the quarterback room, so none of them were within 6 feet of each other.
Wow.
Yeah,
He'll be right at home in Chicago.
and yeah, and Drew Lock wonders why, like Fangio didn't like him.
Right.
Like
Right.
that's cost us a game. It also changed
Uh,
the rules as far as quarterbacks go. That's now why every team is allowed to have a quarterback put on the roster game time as an extra free. So
Very true.